Andrew, before we get right into the cricket, just one on this nice moment here this afternoon. I guess a chance for the families and the players to relax. How nice is it to actually be able to take a breath after what's been a pretty incredible test?
It's always great to have the families here, and as you can see, what's playing out in front of us is a special moment and lifelong memories. Makes it even sweeter on the back of going 2-0 up in this series. But yeah, we always encourage the families to come on tour. The guys do long hours on the road, and yeah, whenever they get that time to reconnect with their families and when they're on the road, it's fantastic to watch unfold.
Let's get stuck in.
Stuck in?
The Johnny Bairstow stumping run out, whether it's actually going to go down in the book as. Is that an opportunity you've been watching for during this series? Is it something you've noticed Johnny do a lot, and you've said to, or someone has said, let's watch for that and try and execute that dismissal?
Yeah, there's no doubt when a player is leaving their crease or leaving their ground at certain periods of time that you take that opportunity. And I think Pat relayed that in the aftermatch, that there was some conversation around Johnny leaving the crease, and Alex Carey took that opportunity, and the ball was still live in our minds. It got sent upstairs, and ultimately the officiating third umpire decided it's out. It's within the laws of the game. So yeah, I don't see too many issues with it, to be perfectly honest.
So you're saying there was conversation ahead of time that this was something Johnny had been doing, and therefore you should try to, I suppose, exploit?
It's with every player.
Yeah.
It's like when a player's running down the wicket to Nathan Lyon, does he take the opportunity to fire a ball down leg side because he's leaving his crease? There's no doubt about that. You see a run-out opportunity at point and you throw at the bowler's end, and luckily Martin actually hit the stumps when Duckett was on his way to 100. So he took that opportunity. He thought he was out of his ground. So so I think any time that a player leaves their ground, you take that opportunity. I think the deliberation that potentially was being discussed out there was the fact that whether it was called over or not. I think that's where sort of Ben was discussing with the players out on the field. But any of these events are always going to polarise opinion. We saw it on day 4 with the catch as well. Some people thought it was out, some people thought it was not out. So these types of events are interpreted as part of the laws, and sometimes not everyone agrees with it.
Did you surprised by the blowback that seems to have been? I mean, Ben Stokes has been pretty strong in saying he would have withdrawn the appeal. I know Pat mentioned in the press conference that Johnny Bairstow has in fact rolled the ball to stumps a few times. Are you therefore surprised there has been blowback from England?
I think we've seen lots of examples of this over time. So I would say that this won't be the last that we see of it. So.
What have you made of the short ball in this last test, Andrew? Did you anticipate it going to? Does it feel like the tactical extremes of Test cricket?
We didn't anticipate the series to play it like this in the first couple of Test matches with the amount of short pitch deliveries. I think any time you're playing a Test match when you've got a surface such as the two that have been presented, sometimes when the sun's out, you're left few options. And we've seen when the overheads are in, it's a totally different game. And I thought the way that we were challenged on day 1 with the ball from England was, what we'd call almost conventional Test cricket. There was overheads, and the way that we played on day 1 to set up this game. And I think in some ways the conditions almost conspired against us at certain times. It seemed like every time we were batting that there was overheads and lights were on, and our ability to be adaptable through that period and navigate our way through was outstanding, to give us an opportunity to set up the game the way it unfolded. So really proud of the way that the boys have gone about it. And it seemed on the opposite end when we were bowling, the sun was out. So but I suppose hopefully we'll get on the right side of those conditions at some point in time.
Do you need to change the way you train? Like, I know you guys do stuff with softer balls and stuff like that, but you don't face anything like some of your guys didn't face anything in their half the whole game. Do you need to change it?
I think we do enough of it. So I think that the way that we train and prepare won't change that much. It's more the decision making. I think the surface challenged the batters differently as well. I think it probably wasn't understood how difficult it was. I think the variable bounce, when the ball was dug in, there was some, a foot and a half at certain times. So if you think of a ball coming down 140 odd k's an hour, and then there's a foot and a half of variation. Some balls get big on you when you look, a bit clumsy at times, and then other times when you duck, the ball doesn't get up as much. So you've got some decisions to make there. And we felt as though we played the situations really well to get ourselves 371 to defend.
Having a quicker attack, is it in your advantage if there's 5 more or 3 more pitches like this that your guys are a bit quicker than that?
I think it'll just be done differently. I don't think it's an advantage. I think whenever you have a bowling attack with certain skill sets in it, you do it slightly differently. And I thought the inclusion of Mitchell Starc was questioned at the start of the Test match. It was a big decision for us to make, but I think now it makes a lot of sense to people, and the way that Starkey went about it gave us a different option, gave us a different balance of attack, and I think that the way that the bowling unit was able to navigate through was outstanding.
What gave Starkey the edge here and not at Edgbaston? What was the difference?
I think the conversation was the same going into Edgbaston.
Yeah.
And then clearly, Scotty Boland had played two Test matches in a row. We felt as though we wanted a little bit more sort of flexibility in the attack with the left arm angle, and we felt with that extra pace potentially we might need some impetus with the short ball. And Starkey does bowl short balls at times, but I haven't seen him commit to a short ball barrage like that for any time in his career really. So I thought the way that he executed was outstanding, and that's the thing that shouldn't be taken away from the bowling units as well, the execution of the bouncer. So we're talking about bowling bouncers, but if you get it wrong, the scoreboard can run, and I've never seen a game where the scoreboard didn't run with the bouncer tactic. So full credit to both bowling units.
On that, and very different style of bowling to the short stuff. The fact that he was able to get the ball to swing a couple of times in the game, get some very important wickets. I mean, that seems like it's swinging a lot less consistently in England this time around. So happy that you got that one wrong.
Yeah, we obviously feel if the conditions are in his favour that he'll curl the ball, and when they're not, that everyone struggles to swing the ball. They had better swing numbers than us throughout the game, but I think that's just purely on the overheads. But to see his impact with the new ball, a couple of almost conventional test wickets early on from Patton himself, gave us a really good start, fall down early, put them right on the back foot. So promising signs for Starkey, but we feel as though we've got a really good collective to get through the series.
And just one in terms of, I guess, the intensity of the reaction today in the long room and around the ground. Obviously the team's gone on a long journey in terms of improving its reputation and how it's seen and how it plays its cricket. How do you deal with the fact that that might be the reaction you're going to get in Headingley and ahead in the series?
I think we've got a pretty strong reaction in Edgbaston anyway, so I don't think the crowds are going to change too much. It's on their terms with the crowds, and we feel supported. We've got plenty of support, and I think that ultimately when it comes down to it, was within the laws of the game. So I don't think, as I said, there's too many issues our end.
Are you going to have a chat?
Sorry.
I think we're about to get thrown off the ground. So.
Are you going to have a Brendan said on TMS after the game that he doesn't think you'll see the teams having a beer anytime soon. Have you spoken to him? Will you speak to him just about I suppose that relational side of things?
Haven't spoken to him. I only heard that comment for the first time, and was somewhat disappointed by that comment. So.
Short pitch bowling can be pretty boring and one-dimensional, and there was a lot of it. Do you expect that to go on, or do you think that we might get some proper cricket at various stages?
Proper cricket. It depends how you interpret proper cricket. I think both teams are playing the conditions the way that they should be played. And as I said, when the sun's out, on flat surfaces, you have a few options at times, and the short ball's an option that can bring about error rates in batters, then why not go there? So, and we saw with England, they pitched the ball up. We played and missed a lot on day one. So if that's conventional cricket, maybe the overheads hold the key to what conventional cricket looks like.
And Andrew, just quickly as well, you're up 2-0 now. It'd be missing me not to acknowledge it. Like, how proud are you of the team to get to this point, and how good is this position to be?
It's a great position to be in, but it's a 5 Test match series, so we're realistic about that. We've got a short turnaround. Great to see the families here. We'll have a small celebration tonight, and then quickly flick our focus onto Headingley, which is going to be another challenge.
Just a couple on selection. It appears as though Todd Murphy is going to be needed given Nathan Lyon's situation. Does he just come? Is it pretty much a straight in? Like, is there any consideration of going all pace? And by the same token, is Scott Boland come in if you do go into the 3 quicks? Is he in the mix?
Yeah, I mean it's too early to tell. Short turnaround, we'll assess where everyone's at, and then clearly we'll assess the surface and the weather conditions up there. But Todd's pretty well placed. We like to have a spinner in our attack. It gives us a different balance. And as you saw today, at certain times we had to do it differently without Nathan Lyon down the other end, which we've been so used to. At times it looked a bit chaotic. So we do like to have that spin option in the attack.
So officially, is Nathan Lyon out of the series, and is he going home?
I think officially he will be out of the series. We'll take some time to decide that, but it's not looking good at the moment. It's a significant tear to the calf, and it'll be series ending.
And just on Nathan Lyon, how different could this match have potentially been if England were chasing 15 runs less? And how courageous is what he did yesterday? And sorry, just further to that, was it not just the runs, but the inspiration that I guess he offered up by doing that?
It's probably a combination of both. What players are willing to do for the team, and it speaks volumes of that change room at the moment, how united they are. So the 15 runs was critical as well, just to give ourselves a little bit more time, albeit at the rate the game's going, it's probably a couple of overs. But incredibly sort of brave effort for him to get out there. He was willing to do it. The only consideration for us was, were we putting him in harm's way? And there was a lot thought and effort from the medical team that went into that, how we strapped him up, and was he functional enough to deal with what was coming at him, because you never want to put a player in harm's way.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.